It all came down to the 2012 VFL Grand Final. Port Melbourne and Geelong, the best two teams in the competition, and David Rees-Jones, they gave us a grand final to remember.
Certainly, right from the first bounce, it was on for the young and old, and they just went hard at it. It was just terrific, contest after contest, and every kick was earned. It was some skillful football, but early on especially, it was really hard in there. It was nice and tough.
First 3 or 4 minutes, Dawson Simpson's influence in the middle of the ground there, along with Hall and Smith, who had a very good day, they were so important. Simpkin got the first goal, Brown kicked the second goal after 4 minutes, and the Cats really bounced out of the blocks.
Yeah, they come out hard, and the centre breaks were a real problem for Port Melbourne. But to their credit, and they've got experienced players in there, they were able to level that side of it up. And then, you know, Bentic, it was fantastic early on. He died out of the game later in the match, but his first quarter was sensational.
Yeah, and it was their little fellas who were doing a fair bit of the damage. Here is that man, Bentic, and look at the kick to Sam Dwyer just sneaking out the back door. How they allowed him to be alone is a mystery, and they did actually allow a few of the Port Melbourne players to get out on their lonesome early on.
Well, they were. They were playing a high-risk game, Geelong, and that's what really won them the game. I mean, they took it on, they ran hard, they tackled hard. I mean, both teams really did have a crack, and it was an arm wrestle for, you know, the first 3.5 quarters.
How about this for a passage of play? It was Wojcinski taking the mark of the day, and then Kirsten, who might have looked as though he made a blue, came up with the goal of the day, and that really lifted the Cats. And David Wojcinski had a moment to remember there with that great mark in his final game for Geelong.
Yeah, and look, what a great servant of the Geelong Football Club he's had. AFL premierships, now a VFL one, and you know, terrific way to finish off a good career.
It was really tight going into half-time. Port had the lead by 4 points at quarter-time, and then they had the lead by 2 points at half-time. It was Simon Hogan, who I thought really put the foot on the gas at the start of the third quarter. He had 11 disposals in the third quarter, and he was the man who sparked them.
Yeah, it was one of those games where players just flashed in patches, and Hogan, you know, the first 15 minutes of the third quarter, he had the ball on a string, but, you know, and there were players just flashing in and out of the game, but it was so intense and frenetic at stages. We see Billy Burston kicking a great goal, and that's what he's renowned for. Probably didn't get the opportunities, but he was a good player.
Wasn't it vintage Port Melbourne, though, because Geelong got the first goal, then Port got the next. Geelong got the third goal, Port got the next. Geelong got the fifth goal, Port got the next. It was just goal for goal. It was gripping stuff.
It was. It was just a fantastic showcase of what is, you know, no doubt the best. And what about a left foot kick there?
That is amazing.
Sensational kick, and just had the depth and carry to be able to put it on his teammate Lee. It was a platter, that was.
And then it was the Cats through Don Gleeson, who was able to kick a goal. This is in the last quarter after Dean Galea levelled the scores. That was at the 3-minute mark, but then the Cats completely took over. The boy from Tassie, George Burberry, had a great day. They had 13 scoring shots to 1 in the last quarter, and they were worthy winners, the Cats.
Yeah, and as you'd expect, they had all the run their legs. They've got a lot of professional footballers there. The Port Melbourne boys are part-timers, but they can hold their head high. They give it their all today.
And Shannon Burns was able to take the mark on the siren and kick the goal. It was 38 scoring shots to 20. Desolation, dejection for Port Melbourne. They couldn't defend the premiership, but credit to them after the exodus of players that they had at the end of 2011. But the premiers in 2012 are the Cats, and they win by 33, 14-24, 108 to Port Melbourne 11-9-75. So the Cats adding to their VFL flags of 2002 and 2007. Is it going to be another dynasty for Geelong? Port Melbourne can walk away with their heads high, but Geelong are the champions of the VFL in 2012.